Hello everyone. Welcome to PyCon Indonesia and this pod one session 4 day 2. So we are having our next speakers right now. She is Merve Noyan. She is a developer advocate from Hugging Face. So we will talk about a machine learning demo using Python. So without further ado, let's talk with her. Hello
Hello,
Merve, how are you?
I'm fine. You?
Yeah, I'm fine too. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, sure, sure. So you are in Turkey right now.
Yeah, I'm on GMT +3.
You're GMT plus T, and we are GMT plus 7. I think we have 4 hours difference. I think it's into the lunchtime right there.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I'm Murphy gonna give you a talk about building machine learning demos using Python. So let's take the screen to the stage. Here you go.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Murphy, the time is yours.
Thank you. So, hello, I'm Merve. I'm a developer advocate at Hugging Face. I write code on Monday, do integrations on Tuesday, give talks on Thursday. This is basically my job. And today I'm going to talk about building machine learning demos using Python. But firstly, like I want to talk about my background. I'm a bit ill today. Sorry if my voice is weird or if I cough or something. I am taking it slow. So I was previously a machine learning engineer. I have done machine learning with tabular data. I have done pure data science. I have done information extraction, chatbots, mostly chatbots. And I was into, natural language processing. Currently, I'm doing advocacy and open source at Hugging Face, and I'm also a graduate student currently working on NLP. Before diving into the talk, I would like to talk about a bit on Hugging Face ecosystem. You might heard of Hugging Face with the famous Transformers library. Basically, what we do is we help people unlock the capabilities of transfer learning. You might ask, what is transfer learning? I will explain. So basically, if you were to build a machine learning model, you can either train your model from scratch, or there are models that are trained by Microsoft, Google, Facebook that are really big and contain so much information. You can take this model and train it on your own data. This is called fine-tuning, and actually have much better performance than training from scratch. So Hugging Face firstly hosts these models, the big models I have just told you are called pre-trained models. We host pre-trained models. We have this community that trains pre-trained models. We are hosting their architectures, maintaining the architectures within PyTorch, TensorFlow, JAX. Yeah, but these are not the only things we do. We do a couple of things, but this is one of our biggest open source efforts. And another open source effort of Hugging Face is the datasets library. So we host your datasets, we host canonical datasets. There are big datasets that are used in challenges and used as a benchmark to evaluate the models. Like, let me give an example, like ImageNet or MNIST. We are hosting them as well. You can use this. Datasets to fine tune on models, and we enable users to actually do that, because it's not only hosting models but actually providing tools to enhance to actually use these models, because there is a lot of things in between. We provide the tools to do that. Yeah. This is actually done all in Hugging Face Hub. We provide you datasets, models, spaces that I will get to later on. we provide you everything that you need to build. You need to build a machine learning product, and we let you collaborate as a community and as a team. In Hugging Face Hub, basically a workflow is typical workflow. At least we have tons of models. These are in various domains, like you might know us with natural language processing, but we currently have image domain, we have audio domain, we even started doing reinforcement learning. So yeah, like if you need to build a product like a machine learning product, you can just go into the hub, look for your use case. If you have a model that suits your use case, which is like, I feel like it's 60% of the cases, you can take that model and just use it. Or if you have your own data set, and if you have, like, let's say you are going to build a machine learning application that is going to extract information from doctors' biomedical domain. You can basically take an English model and fine-tune it on biomedical text, and then you can have an information extraction tool that is based on biomedical domain, for instance. So this is like a workflow. You can have one. You can either pick a model and directly use it, or you can, if you have a very specific use case, then you can fine-tune your models on our hub with your own data set. We also have data sets that are domain specific. We have over 5,000 data sets at the moment. Yeah, but going back to today's talk, I want to talk about my background a little. I come from a data science path rather than a developer path, and one thing I have found painful was building demos to the models I created. And actually deploying them. So I was a purely data scientist at school. I have studied industrial engineering, which is more like, like you also do coding, but this coding is based on, data analysis, optimization, simulation, math stuff, rather than actually developing things. Like I remember, like I did this sales prediction model, like I trained it and I had to show it to the end users, which is like a customer, because I was doing sort of like a consultancy job. And I remember I have this book called like something like Web Applications with Flask. It has this big dog. It is like a big dog on the cover. You might all know this is like a famous Flask book. And I went through it. Like I have learned all about logging, databases, a little bit of UI, async processes. Like I have learned all of it. I have, like, on top of it, I have learned Docker. I have learned JavaScript for, building a good front end. And it was quite hard for me. I was just doing this, like it wasn't even going to be in production, but I was just doing this for only one demo, which was a little bit of overkill in my opinion. So it was good to learn, but I would rather have something that is going to, like easy interface to build UIs, and then maybe like I don't know, something that is going to host my application in a container, serve it online, instead of me writing things from scratch. So I remember having to learn all of these libraries and writing everything, and it broke from time to time. It was a pain. So if you are just like me, we got you covered with our new feature called Spaces. This is basically a platform where we are going to host your machine learning demos. This is actually regardless of machine learning, by the way. You can have like a database application and showcase them to the stakeholders of your project, your team members, collaborate with them. You can basically host anything in Spaces. There is no limitation. And you can also host machine learning models in any domain, basically. We support everything. It can be a natural language processing model. It can be a computer vision or audio model. And we also support reinforcement learning agents in Unity. We have recently had this beautiful game called Snowball Fight, which is basically done with Unity ML agents. Yeah, you can host basically anything. You can also host your exploratory data analysis or like make a data application and like a dashboard maybe and host it there. And this is completely free, by the way. I will quickly show you how to wrap up a nice machine learning and natural language processing application. So this is a French story generator. This is, I have written this with very few lines of code. This is like a nice UI. It has like 3 models working in the background. I will just explain. It has 2 translation models and 1 English story generator model. And I have written this app with few lines of code and deployed it in minutes, which is quite surprising. It's currently serving. So I didn't use any JavaScript code or build. I didn't use Flask or I don't know, like any other. Like I didn't use HTML or CSS or whatever. I have only used Gradio for this one. We have both Streamlet and Gradio. Like we are supporting them. Like if you really want it, you can actually write HTML code as well, and we are going to host it. There is no limitation. But as a, like someone that is coming from a data scientist path, I seriously find Streamlit and Gradio to make my life easier. Okay, but how did I actually do it? So I have defined my interface in Gradio, which is basically this thing. I have 3 models working in background. One is from French to English translation model for, like I have this French end user at the end. I translate their input from French to English. And then I have this English story generator model because basically I didn't find any French story generator model and I was too lazy to actually build one. So like in the middle, I have this. And the output is, of course, English of this story generator. So I have to translate it from English to French. So I have like 3 models working in the background. I have defined those models. As you can see here, there is something called Gradius Series, which is a type of an interface. What it does is that one output of the model is actually the input of the next model. So like the translator from French to English, the output of this goes into the English story generator, and output of the English story generator goes into the from English to French translation model, basically. I have defined my description, which is this, it says generate your own D&D story. I have defined my title, which is the French story generator using Opus MTM GPT-2. I can provide examples to my users such that they know what they can input or not. And I have defined what kind of input does this model, the first model at least, receive. The first model receives text input. So I have this big text box. I could have made it smaller as well, just saying. Like I give this my models like in a serial manner. I give the description, title, and the input type with the number of lines. And then I call launch, which launches interface. So you define your interface. And then you call launch, which is going to start serving your interface. Yeah. And just uploading this piece of code into Spaces will be sufficient for me to serve it online and nothing else. So we have in the Hugging Face hub, you go into your profile, and on your profile picture, like just click there, and there is something called new space. Like click there, and then it will take you to a page where you can create your space. In the space, like you pick your space's name, you pick the SDK you want to use. This can be Streamlet, Gradio, or a custom one in which you can write your interface from scratch. And you can pick like the public, the secrecy, like a privacy of your space. If you pick public, it will be open to everyone. If it's going to be private, then it's going to be only seen by you. Or if you are in an organization and if you are working with an organization, your organization team members will be able to see the space, which enables you to collaborate without leaking information to others. And in just like Flask apps, we have this app.py file that has our main application. And here, this was my app.py file. Like literally, this is what I have written. And like you save this as app.py and just drag and drop into your space, and you will be done. It will start serving. If you have like additional dependencies on, like, it can be like in this case, additional dependencies are not Gradio because you say I'm going to use Gradio from the beginning. If you have additional dependencies, you can define them in the requirements.txt file. This is also like this space is also a repository at the same time. So if you have like a very complicated space with tons of files, then you can just clone this space using Git LFS, Git Large File System, because models are usually big. In Hugging Face, we are using Git LFS. And just commit and push your space, and you will be done. It will start serving. You can also do a drag and drop, just saying. So you can say, hey, this is all cool, but which SDK should I be using? So this depends on your use case, in my opinion. So my take on this is that Streamlit is incredibly flexible. Like the possibilities are endless. You can do a database application, you can do a machine learning application. If your machine learning application is like too complicated, you can still do it with Streamlit. It has some community components like Space. It has this component for Spacey. It has this thing for WebRTC. It has like visualization packages, which is very cool. As for Gradio, it is very quick to build something. Like over there, I have written this application with Gradio, and under few lines of code. Like it's crazy. Like in 5 minutes or something, you write your interface and then just push it, and it will just start serving. And you only specify inputs and outputs. And if you want to like decorate your interface, you write like examples, title, description, etc. And also Gradio has this nice, like most of the components inside Gradio is actually built in. Like if you want something like a component input type that is going to be like something about drawing on a board, Gradio has this built in. If you want to do like a video, as far as I know, this is also built in, but Streamlit has like these as additional dependencies. So just keep that in mind. Now for why we have done this is that within the Hugging Face ecosystem, you can work with the team members of your team through something we call organizations. We have a lot of organizations. Like, for instance, I have my own NLP lab at school, and I have registered it as an organization. You can basically build your spaces, like train models with your teammates, and also commit data sets in the organization, and also build spaces that are private but only visible to your team members to collaborate better. You can share your demos internally, and yeah, So another use case that I find as a like a very useful one is actually building my portfolio through Hugging Face. So this is completely an opinion and it can be wrong, but I feel like most of the recruiters are actually not running your repositories, your repository code, or just infer with your models because it's painful most of the time. But with Spaces, they can just go into your profile and see, what you have done. So see if your space, like the application in your space, is actually fits their use case, fits their product, and this might just put you ahead. But this is just an opinion, and I find it useful to get my apps up and running in Spaces so that someone can come over and see, hey, this girl is doing coolest stuff. So like there are so many spaces in hf.co/spaces. You can go over there and actually have some fun. There are like games inside. There are like this space has went viral last month. It is called Anime Gun V2. So it takes your photograph and turns you into an anime character, which is, I was obsessed with it. I just couldn't leave the application. Yeah. And another space that I really like as a geeky person is called A Conversation with Gandalf. So you basically talk with Gandalf as if you have Gandalf on the other end of the that chat box. It's really good. And if you need extra help with SDKs and Spaces, I have written 2 blog posts to help you get started with them. Both for Streamlet and Gradio, there is like example applications, which I'm going to showcase you very shortly as a demo. And like maybe for 5 minutes now, I can take questions and then I can get to the demo itself. In the meanwhile, we have just launched our Discord, and we have this free course. Like it has many chapters on machine learning. It's like a gentle introduction into Hugging Face ecosystem, and we have our course participants do awesome machine learning projects and demo them, and we let them collaborate within the Discord as well. And we also have this community events. We have sprints about everything machine learning related. And I would like to maybe like for 5 minutes, I can have questions and I can get to the demo, and then maybe I can have questions again, if it's okay. Is it okay?
Okay, let me look at the comments. So I think there's not yet a question. I think
I can directly go there as well. It's fine.
Yeah, I think there's not yet a question. Maybe I think you can. It's okay if you want to continue for the demo first, and we will we'll try the Q&A.
I have stopped.
Okay.
I have stopped my slideshow. Wait, let me. So I'm going to demo a couple of applications. So one is a Streamlit dataset exploration kind of demo. Other one is Write with Transformers, which is my favorite application ever. You can still see my screen, right?
No, you are not sharing it right now.
Can I for a second not share, and I'm going to start sharing again, but I want to share like a part of my screen instead this time. So
actually, your screen is not sharing right now.
Yeah. I want to start sharing again.
Sure. We'll be waiting. Actually, while we're waiting, so we have some question.
We have question.
It's just coming. So it's about the storage limitation when we upload model to the spaces. I think that's a pretty easy
There is
question.
none, in my opinion. Like
So there's no
there is
storage
none.
limit.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Because models are very big. So I'm going to share my second screen.
Okay, it's up
I
now.
shared it.
That's it.
So
Okay.
basically, in Hugging Face, we have this. Like this is my favorite application, even before I joined Hugging Face. Sorry, I have two cursors because of an iPad bug. I have this application that lets you write with transformers with GPT-2. So I have built this using Streamlet and Hugging Face. I can pick my parameters to my model here. And I have this temperature parameter, for instance, that picks the confidence of the model. This is like in generative models like GPT-2, you have a temperature parameter. Like the more temperature it has, the more random your model is going to be, and the less temperature it has, the more conservative your model is going to be in the predictions. I have these sampling parameters, and let's get to it. So I write, I'm Merve and an officer of the French Foreign Legion. So my name is Merve, and let's say, command enter. And I'm a student at anyway. So we have this app.py file that is my application. Basically, I don't have anything else. I have my requirements file, and I'm going to go through this a little. So I have done this using like purely importing the Hugging Face model, but I could have done this with the Inference API as well. Like Inference API is this Hugging Face API that lets you infer with models. It sends a request to the Hugging Face. You know, you give the input, you give the model name, and you send it to the other end, and you get the result of the inference from the model back. I could have done this with that as well because the model is too big, but I wanted to demonstrate a couple of stuff. So in here I have Streamlet cache. This caches the model for this load model process takes a lot of time. So it caches this process, which makes the time that is taking shorter. And I have this infer function that is going to take an input ID maximum length. Like in the demo, I have given this for a very short amount of time, short amount of length. That's why it was completing it wasn't completing that well. I have temperature parameter that I have explained you, top K, top P, and number of return sequences. So I have this GPT-2 model, and I call model.generate, which enables, which basically generates the outputs from GPT-2. And I return output sequences. And I have this default value. I'm going to explain what it is. I have my title of the model, the demo itself. I have this st.write, which writes down things for me. And I have my, sliders that you have seen like in the sidebar. Like I have this Streamlit text area, which basically helps me input my text. And I have this maximum length parameter that is actually a slider for now. I have temperature parameter as a slider because it's a floating point one. like if I'd suggest if the range of the possible if the range of the values your parameters take too much, like if the range is very wide, then use slider for this. If not, you can use number input. For the floating point ones, I have used slider, and also for the max length, I have used slider because the range is too long. And I infer, I take the input, I encode it. This is like a pre-processing step in the NLP applications. And I and I call infer and take my output sequence and post-process it to get my output here. And another application I want to show you is, let me get this out. This is actually what I have just shown, but I wanted to demo it here. So this is a story generation with GPT-2. This one is actually like purely English, so it doesn't have any like a big it is even with lesser line of code. So it has description of the model, interface, which is a Gradius interface. Like previously we had series, but now we have just plain interface. I give the model name and the title of the interface. I give the inputs, which is a text box, and I give the description I have defined here. And I give examples as a hint to my users. Oh, wait, sorry. So adventurer is approached by a mysterious stranger in the tavern for a new quest is my example input. Let's see what it generates. Yeah, this is like a generating D&D, which is something that I really like. So my last application is actually a data application. It's like a exploratory data analysis over text. I have used this. I have built this using Streamlet. So I have this poetry data set. I also get this data set from Hugging Face data sets. This is my data set. I have this very nice interactive data frame object. Like I can, for instance, sort it. I can see the content of a cell, which is very nice. I have like, in this data set, I have author of the poem, content of the poem, name of the poem, age and type. And I have, in this demo, I have used Streamlit components, and I also used Matplotlib and Seaborn plots. So I have visualized a couple of statistics, like number of poems written in each type. And we have number of poems for each age. And we can see that in Renaissance, people have written more poems, maybe. I have number of poems for each author. I have used Seaborn for this. I have distributions of types, poem types according to ages and authors. So this is like a nice plot that shows distribution. And I have word clouds for each. And I have this interactive Streamlet bar chart, which shows most appearing words, including stop words. And this is, it shows like the bar chart shows when you go into the bars, the value as well, which I find very useful. You can also play with it, like as you can see. And let me go into this. So it has a couple of dependencies because it's a very flexible one. It's not a machine learning one. So basically, I have standardized the text, meaning I got rid of the special characters and lowercased it. I have said Streamlit.write. This is like this basically writes things, you know, like in here. Poetry dataset, content column cleaned from special characters. This is basically what st.write does. This one is also something like Streamlit.title or header. Let me see. I don't have it on my memory. yeah, this is Streamlet.write, and this was my data set. I have got rid of the stop words, and I have standardized it, and I have used st.dataframe, which was this nice interactive component that was my data frame. And I have Streamlit subheader. It was subheader, sorry, like the title one was the Streamlit.subheader, and I write an explanation. And I like whenever I want to use like a matplotlib or seaborn plot, like I call it, I just do my plot, and I called st.pyplot to make them appear in my Streamlit application, and that's basically enough. Like you can use like bokeh, you can use Streamlit, you can use a matplotlib, anything, like maybe plotly. And I have I have a couple of other plots done with Seaborn, and I have like this another plot done with Seaborn, which was the distribution of poem types. It just required me to encode a little. That's why I did it. And lastly, like I have this most appearing words other than stop words plot, which is again, which is here. Let me go back. In here, this word cloud. I have also done this with word cloud package of Python. In here. And lastly, I have this most appearing words, including stop words. You can remember there's this nice Streamlet bar chart. I only give, like the words, and it just creates a bar chart for me that is like interactive and nice. And that is it. Just in time, I can have questions. I'm gonna stop sharing. And maybe like let me put this if people would
Okay,
like to join the Discord.
sure. So actually we have some compliments from Felix PP Samasir. So he says, well, Hugging Face spaces and datasets library will be very helpful in building and deploying machine learning models easily. So I think
Yeah.
that's helping. We're really looking forward about Hugging Face, right? Because I also search it search it a little before the talk, and Hugging Face offer a really good things to help us deploying our machine learning models.
Yeah.
And okay, I think nobody asked a question, so I wanna ask something too. But
Uh-huh.
so in the Hugging Face, so when you are creating a model
Mm-hmm.
on your custom domain, so you can use it on custom domain, like not like the others website, which is it has to be on their domain, but you only have the subdomain.
What do you mean?
I mean, when I want to uh, deploy my machine learning models in Hugging Face, but I
Yeah.
want it to direct to my domain, like dinama.id, for example.
I think I know what you mean. So for spaces, at least, like this, I feel like this spaces is most useful for internal demos and external
Oh, so
demos, but not for production. Like for production, you can build your own machine learning demo or like application. Like most of the use cases, at least, like in real life, in your job, you have this. You have to serve your machine learning models in your own platform. It can be like an e-commerce platform, or I don't know, like you can do like sales prediction, churn prediction in your own internal platform. So this is mostly for demo purposes, like the spaces and development of the model, and not for production, I would say.
So there's another question from Ananda Pratama. So what should I prepare before uploading my model to Hugging Spaces for inference? I think, for example, I'm using TensorFlow
Inference.
CNN model and doing image classifications.
So like there are a couple of things, a couple of things I have to ask. So basically, if you want to host, you want it in the spaces. Okay, so you just need to write down the app.py file, which is like if you have a TensorFlow CNN model, you can still use Gradio or Streamlet to infer with it, and just like build your interface over there and just upload. Like you only need your app.py file and nothing else. And I would doubt, like if you are hosting your Hugging Face model, like if you are hosting your model on Hugging Face hub, you can also call your model from Hugging Face hub instead of directly uploading your model to spaces as well.
So
which is better.
It's not that hard, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's not that hard.
yeah, it takes some more steps, but it's not that hard, I think.
I'm currently writing like a visual attention space, like in I don't know if you know, like in machine learning we have attentions, which is like a saliency map in the images, and I am currently writing a demo for done with TensorFlow. It's like an image captioning demo for visual attention, and I'm also writing this to host in spaces. It's easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe for the people who didn't know, you can also looking at the Merve spaces. So if you want to try it online, what have Merve done it on the Hugging Face, you can just go to, maybe you can look out for the Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or go to the Hugging Face / Merve, right?
Yeah, it's directly Merve, yes.
Okay, so I also have another question about how free is the Hugging Face for us to upload our models in Hugging Face?
So in Hugging Face we have Hugging Face Hub and we have like spaces, and in Hugging Face Hub you can just directly upload your models. This is completely free. There is like in your models page there is like a nice inference widget. Like everything is free. And also Spaces is free. It's just you don't have like GPU instance, as far as I remember. You have CPU. Like most of the spaces have CPU. So yeah, we have everything is free in the spaces. Like you can host anything. You can have unlimited number of spaces. Like transformers and data sets are open source anyway, and we have like solutions directed for enterprise only, and these are closed source. These are not free, but most of the time like nobody needs to use enterprise solutions anyway, because like they require a lot of computing power and stuff. It has to be like it has to be priced. So but everything else is free. Most of the things are free in Hugging Face.
So most of thing, if you are a student or a hobbyist, Hugging Face is one of the perfect place to host your machine learning. Yeah, just like what you do before, you did like for some like machine learning is not a very not a very hardcore one. So I think that's a good place. So I think that's all of the questions from here. Thank you so much for having us in PyCon ID. Looking at
Thank you for
your tracks.
hosting me.
Yeah, looking at your tracks, you are a very, very amazing people out there using Python. So thank you so much for coming to Indonesia virtually. And let's meet in another PyCon. Hope we can see each other person.
See
you
ya.
then.
Bye bye.